Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. We've got capacity for 2,500 vaccine shots a day, according to the Vaccine Consultative Committee. No details yet on Family Island rollout, but the Prime Minister is touting the vaccine during his Andros trip, and the Prime Minister changing rules for weddings and funerals. Plus more from the Vaccine Consultative Committee in our discussion today. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, March 19th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be here, filling in for Stephen Hanna. Also this morning in Morning Blend Business, we're going to be talking about the importance of risk management for your company. That's coming up. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee has organized sites so that 2,500 vaccine doses can be administered a day once supply is beefed up. That's according to Ed Fields, the committee's deputy chairman. Fields saying that currently the health professionals at Loyola Hall will be able to administer the vaccine to nearly 500 people daily. He said PMH, Princess Margaret Hospital, has the capacity to vaccinate about 80 people daily, noting that it has the ability to expand that depending on demand. They also have Sandilands, that's an option, and Doctors Hospital has the capacity to do about 100 per day. He says there is an issue of supply and demand right now. He says we have 20,000 doses, and that's the supply. He said the demand is greater. Meanwhile, Governor General Sir Cornelius A. Smith receiving his first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine administered yesterday by Nurse Ruth Bastian, who was the first person to receive the vaccine in the country. Sir Cornelius, who is 83 years old, and his wife, Clara Smith, were vaccinated at Loyola Hall yesterday, just before 9 o'clock. Moments after the vaccine was administered to the Governor General, the National Guardian asked him how he felt. He said, quote, "very fine." Although the government has yet to announce details on when Family Islanders will be able to make vaccine appointments, Prime Minister Dr. Jimenez, during an event in Andros, urging Bahamians and residents to take the vaccine as soon as they are eligible so that the country can open up and the economy get back on track. Prime Minister was speaking yesterday. He says, Those vaccines are approved by the World Health Organization and are safe. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has increased the number of people who can attend graveside funerals on New Providence, Abaco, Eleuthera, and Exuma. It's moving now from 20 to 40. And he's also ordering that weddings may be held inside a religious facility with attendees not exceeding 1/3 of that facility's capacity. Previously, only a maximum of 10 people could attend a wedding inside a religious facility. The latest amendment to the Emergency Powers Order still prohibits funerals from taking place inside a religious facility on those islands. The amendment took effect yesterday. Regarding weddings, the service must adhere to physical distancing protocols. Attendees must wear masks, and other protocols issued by the Bahamas Christian Council must be followed. A graveside service of interment may be held with a maximum of 40 people, exclusive of the officiants and mortuary workers. However, the order states that no person shall host or attend a wedding reception or a funeral repast or conduct or attend a memorial service or funeral or cremation service in a funeral home or a chapel. And Attorney General Carl Bethel says the government's decision to purchase the Grand Lucayan Resort in Grand Bahama was not a terrible mistake, as suggested by the opposition. He charged yesterday that the PLP loves Grand Bahamians the way, quote, the Romans loved the cross on which they crucified Christ, end quote. Bethel saying the PLP abandoned Grand Bahama. Overseas, the suspension of the AstraZeneca vaccine in several European countries over the past week could fuel skepticism about the shot far beyond their shores, potentially threatening the rollout of a vaccine that is key to the global strategy to stamp out the coronavirus pandemic, especially in developing nations. As things stand, it's either AstraZeneca or nothing for some poorer countries. The vaccine from the Anglo-Swedish drug maker is cheaper and easier to store than many others. It will make up nearly all the doses shipped in the first half of the year by COVAX, a consortium meant to ensure low and middle income countries receive vaccines. With little other choice, most developing countries that had the AstraZeneca on hand pushed ahead with it, even as major European countries suspended its use over the past week after reports that unusual blood clots were found in some recipients of the shot, despite insistence from international health agencies that there was no evidence the vaccine was responsible. While governments in Africa and elsewhere expressed their determination to continue using the shot, not everyone was convinced. In Uganda, the East African country has received 864,000 AstraZeneca doses via COVAX, but so far, only 3,000 or fewer had been administered by Tuesday. Authorities blame logistical challenges in transporting the vaccines deep into the country, but newspaper reports cite resistance to the vaccine. Meanwhile, Brazil's vast size and deficient infrastructure make getting coronavirus vaccines to far-flung communities of indigenous peoples and descendants of slaves a particularly daunting endeavor. One nurse speaking about her biggest challenge in vaccinating people in her community. Access is so poor that others are saying vaccinated people they are forced to now vaccinate people they encounter on the roadside or attending to crops in their field. Brazil is in the midst of an alarming spike of COVID-19 cases with nearly 3,000 deaths a day for the first time since the pandemic began. Public health experts say that restrictions on activity and social distancing can help ease pressure on hospitals' overloaded intensive care units, but that the only long-term solution is a mass vaccination in a country of 210 million people that is bigger than the contiguous U.S. In sports, with a loaded schedule this summer, B3A's president, Dramico Archer, knows that an ideal working relationship with the new sports minister would be the best-case scenario to ensure full participation by the country's athletic teams at international meets. The Carifta Games have been postponed twice, now set for August 13th through 15th, and still in Bermuda. Just a couple of days later, the World Athletics Under-20 Championships will begin, set for August 17th through 22nd in Nairobi, Kenya. The Olympic Games and the inaugural Junior Pan American Games also get underway this summer, but Bahamian teams for those events are under the jurisdiction of the BOC, the Bahamas Olympic Committee. Archer says he expects to have a smooth working relationship with the ministry. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section. And severe weather in Birmingham, Alabama, disrupting the first day of the 2021 NCAA Division II Swimming and Diving Championships, but action picked up on Thursday. And both Bahamians got in the pool. Devontae Carey, a sophomore for McKendree University, helped his team to a third-place finish overall in the men's 200 medley. Carey swam the leadoff backstroke leg for the team. Lamar Taylor, a freshman for the Henderson State University Reddies, also swam in the heats for the 50 free yesterday. He just missed out on the B final for that event. Read more in today's Guardian Sports section. Overseas from the NFL, much like they did with cable in the 1980s and satellite television in the 1990s, the NFL making another significant transition in the way its games are viewed. The league's new rights agreements, worth $113 billion over the 11 seasons of the new deals that begin in 2023, include a streaming service receiving an exclusive full-season package for the first time. Amazon Prime Video will be the home of 15 Thursday night football games. Commissioner Roger Goodell calling it a seminal moment for the distribution of content for the NFL. He said the deals, quote, remind me of back in the 1960s, how NFL content and games were a big part of the broadcast TV growth, and then going into the 1980s with our commitment to cable television, and then the 90s with our commitment to satellite television and our Sunday ticket package. The new contracts also mean the NFL will nearly double its media revenue to more than $10 billion a season. The league took in $5.9 billion a year in its current contracts. The total of $113 billion is an increase of 80% over the previous such period. Amazon has partnered with the league to stream 11 Thursday night games since 2017, but it will take over the entire package from Fox, which has had it since 2018. Amazon streamed a Week 16 Saturday game between the 49ers and Cardinals last year that was seen by an estimated 11.2 million total viewers and had an average minute audience of 4.8 million. That was the largest audience to stream an NFL game. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a weak cold front that's going to move into the extreme northern islands later this morning, while the high-pressure ridge is going to slide eastwards. Beachgoers being advised to exercise caution as there's a risk of rip currents today. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, your forecast calls for partly sunny and warm conditions with a gradual increasing clouds, scattered showers, and isolated thunderstorms as that front approaches. Small craft caution continues over the extreme northwest Bahamas. Wind southwest to west at 15 to 20 knots, shifting northwest to north at 10 to 15 knots later this afternoon in the extreme northwestern islands. Southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots over the remainder of the northwest Bahamas. Seas 4 to 6 feet, but diminishing to 2 to 4 feet in the extreme northwest Bahamas, 2 to 4 feet elsewhere. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, partly sunny and hot, with a slight chance of passing isolated showers, becoming partly cloudy with a chance of a brief shower tonight. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. It's about 72 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that
It's time for a break, but when we come back, we are discussing today's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Your home is where your heart is, but it's more than just shelter. Your home is your workplace. Your home is school for your kids. Your home is even your happy place where you play. Get the best internet connection wherever you are with blazing fast speeds up to 300 megabits per second for as low as $99.99 and installation within 48 hours. Sign up for any of our fiber packages today and get a chance to win a free tablet in your second month. Call or WhatsApp 577-SHOP or 424-SHOP and sign up today. Conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. And your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, filling in for Stephen Hanna, who is getting better, is going to be back with us hopefully next week. We've got Chester Robards with us again. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Good morning.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for being here on this Friday.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We have a lot to get to this morning. You join the conversation. We are on Twitter at MorningBlend969 or Facebook, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us, morningbblend@nasgard.com. Or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC, 422-GR96, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. In our beginning of this hour, our 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with the Vaccine Consultative Committee co-chair Ed Fields is going to be talking to us about what is supposed to happen in the next few days with the rollout of the vaccine and going forward, what we can expect. And then in Morning Blend Business at 9, we're going to be talking about the importance of risk management for your business, for your company, especially at this time. So a lot to get to this morning, but let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, some changes for some of the emergency orders. The Prime Minister making adjustments to the rules for funerals and weddings. The Prime Minister's increased the number of people who can attend graveside funerals in New Providence, Abaco, Eleuthera, and Exuma. That number is moving from 20 to 30. The Prime Minister is also ordering that weddings may be held inside a religious facility with attendees not exceeding 1/3 of that facility's capacity. As you may know, previously, only a maximum of 10 people could have attended a wedding inside a religious facility. The latest amendment to the Emergency Powers Order still prohibits funerals from taking place inside a religious facility on any of those islands. That amendment taking place yesterday regarding weddings, the service must adhere to physical distancing protocols. Attendees must wear masks and other protocols issued by the Bahamas Christian Council. A graveside service or interment may be held with a maximum of 40 people, exclusive of the officiants and mortuary workers. However, the order states that no person shall host or attend a wedding reception or a funeral repast, or conduct or attend a memorial service or funeral or cremation service in a funeral home or chapel. The country is still under a state of emergency 1 year after the first case of COVID-19 was reported back in March of last year. Under the various emergency orders issued since then, lockdowns, curfews, social distancing measures, the closure of certain businesses, and the prohibition of certain activities were imposed by the competent authority, as everybody is well aware. However, the restrictions on funerals have become a sensitive issue for many, many families. Yep, it's been very, very difficult. Very difficult for this past year.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm sure there's still going to be some complaints about this, but it's a little bit better than it was before, a little bit better. But hey, what do you make of it, folks? Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796, 422-4796. That's all happening, as I'm sure we'll bring up what was happening with some political parties this week.
Yeah. I thought he would let up on the receptions too.
Yeah. Well,
that's rough.
Mm-hmm. So, as people keep saying, how can you justify one thing and not allow this other thing? And the excuses that are given, people say, are flimsy. But, well, we will see. We will see what people have to say about that one. All right. So yesterday, big day for the vaccine rollout, and we're hearing more about what is expected in the next few days of the rollout of the vaccine. The COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee speaking yesterday, and they're going to be here this morning. Well, Ed Fields is going to be here this morning to tell us more. The Prime Minister also speaking about this on a trip he made to Andros, assuring family islanders that the vaccine is safe and encouraging them to take it when it is available. For more on that, take a listen to this report from our Jasmine Brown.
The vaccines we received was approved and are approved by the World Health Organization. They also have received certification from the Caribbean Regulatory System, and they have been scientifically tested. They have already been given to millions and millions of people, and I can assure you that they are safe.
The Prime Minister was adamant about the safety of the vaccine as he spoke at the event to mark the opening of the Standard Creek Bridge in Andros. The PM was vaccinated on Sunday.
I am afraid of needles. I am not afraid or embarrassed to admit that. And yes, there were some who saw me jump. I jumped because I saw the needle. But I also turned my head so that I could not see anymore. But be assured that the needle is absolutely painless. So for those who are like me and afraid, they have nothing to worry about.
The AstraZeneca vaccine is the only COVID-19 vaccine available in the Bahamas. However, several European countries last week suspended the use of the vaccine following some reports of blood clotting, which added to already existing and widespread vaccine hesitancy. The European Medicines Agency announced that the vaccine is safe and effective and was not associated with a higher risk of blood clots as feared by some European countries. The Prime Minister notes that millions of people around the world have been vaccinated and insisted vaccinating a large number of Bahamians will be the key to reopening the country.
This will create more jobs and get our economy back on track. For tourism, visitors will want to travel to places where the virus is under control. We are seeing the demand to come to the Bahamas is overwhelming.
Last week, 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine donated by the Indian government arrived in the country. The government is awaiting an additional 100,000 plus doses from the COVAX facility. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, as just mentioned in that report, we were waiting to hear from the European Union's Drug Regulatory Agency. Their report was due after investigation due yesterday, and they did release that, saying that the AstraZeneca vaccine doesn't increase the overall incidence of blood clots and that the benefits of using it outweigh the possible risks, paving the way for European countries to resume dispensing the shots. And almost immediately, France, Italy, and Germany promptly announced that they will start using the vaccine again today. Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands said they will do so next week, though Spain said it might exclude certain groups to minimize any danger. More than a dozen nations around the world had suspended their use of the vaccine over the past week, following reports of clots in a few dozen of the millions of people, like the Prime Minister said, millions of people across Europe who've gotten the shot. The question was whether the vaccine had anything to do with the clots and whether any action needed to be taken. The Safety Committee of the European Medicines Agency, quote, has come to a clear scientific conclusion. This is a safe and effective vaccine. That's going to the head of that agency. She's also saying that, quote, if it were me, I would be vaccinated tomorrow. However, she said the agency still cannot rule out definitively a link between certain rare types of blood clots and the vaccine. The EMA recommended adding a description of these cases to the vaccine leaflets, but the debate, of course, has raised fears that the safety questions would seriously undermine public confidence in AstraZeneca's vaccine, which is key to efforts to immunize some of the world's poorer countries and further slow the lagging vaccination drive across the 27-nation EU, at a moment when infections are rising at an alarming rate across Europe as well. But Europe also relies on Pfizer's and Moderna's vaccines. All right, so will that do anything to stop the fears that people have about this vaccine and vaccines in general? And they stopped it just to wait and see, saying that, fine, we're going to resume vaccinating people with it almost immediately. What do you think, Chester? You think that's going to change any minds?
Sure.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Think it's going to change any minds at all?
No, I don't think so.
Oh boy.
But there have been deaths after Pfizer and Moderna as well.
And again, I don't think they've been able to prove any links. And there were
right.
And they're very, very few. Very few.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are ill with other issues, right?
I mean, you are vaccinating millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are very high that people who have some kind of condition after you're doing this mass vaccinations something's gonna show up or something's gonna happen to them. Because you're literally tracking these people in case anything happens.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope. All right. What do you make of it, folks? Again, 323-6232.
Which is not a normal occurrence.
Oh, sorry. Go on. Mm-hmm. Breaking up quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's a bit delayed.
Oh, dear. Okay. Oh, we missed the last part of what you were saying.
No, I was just saying the odds are that if you're vaccinating millions of people at a time, that something's going to show up, during the time of the vaccinations. It's just, I think it's an odds thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. All right. Call us, tell us what your views are. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. So the Governor General got his shot yesterday, receiving his vaccine. Was it Nurse Ruth Bastian, who was the first person to receive the vaccine at all in the country. And Nurse Bastian, I spoke with her yesterday, she says she's doing well. We might get to talk to her this morning. We're going to see. And she's feeling well. And C.A. Smith, Sir Cornelius, and his wife getting vaccinated yesterday. And
what's our total number now? Do they have that?
The number of people up to this point?
Yeah.
I don't know. But maybe we can find out today when we talk to Ed Fields. Let's take these calls and get to your messages on what we've talked about so far. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing, sir?
Dave, good morning.
You and your guest. How are you doing, Mr. Chester?
Good, man. How you doing?
Mr. Strachan, like I said, right, vaccine is a personal choice, because when you go into heaven or hell, you're going for yourself. Mr. Strachan, let me ask you a question. You take the vaccine yet?
No, not yet.
Leave me an example now. Because to tell you the truth, you're doing a good job, promoting it, but everybody...
I'm doing a good job promoting it? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Everybody have a personal responsibility for their health. True or false?
Yes.
Yes, everybody will take it. If they feel they will take it, but most people are waiting to see. Most people are waiting to see effects afterwards, True or false?
I'm sure.
Yes, I'm just trying to... The bigger picture is, but don't get mad, right? The bigger picture is, right?
Is it Marvin Dames? Is that the bigger picture? Is Marvin Dames the bigger picture?
No, man.
Peter Turnquist.
Mr. Strachan, they're long issue. They're long issue, because when you have prison officers' cars getting towed on national television and they're on top of the cars, that's beyond ridiculous. But no, you with me?
I'm not sure, but go on.
No, I'm trying to say
you're getting to the bigger picture.
No, Marvin and Peter, that's a non-issue right now. Because they finished. Okay, that's finished.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm trying to say right now, when you have police, prison officers getting towed on top of their cars, that's a problem we have in the Bahamas. But now, another story. You can't have. What airfields have on this air for them government? You can't have airfields rolling out the vaccine. This man knows nothing about the vaccine. What happened to them?
He's on a committee part of the education campaign and getting the information. Now, what you're going to? This is what? What is the issue?
Strachan, you with me?
I'm not sure.
If the nurses union president union involved, the doctors union involved, what airfields could tell me or you about vaccine? This man don't know nothing about. This man have no knowledge.
Well, we'll find out today. We'll find out today. I don't know if.
And I sure he getting a solid.
Okay.
Very angry about this Ed Fields thing.
Okay. We'll talk. We'll find out. This is a text. One of my biggest fears of taking this vaccine is that I don't know if my insurance company will cover if something adverse happens from taking this vaccine. Something. Okay. Why wouldn't they?
I was going to say what?
Why wouldn't they? Something like what? That shouldn't be your biggest fear. All right, and you can always call them, but that shouldn't be your biggest fear. Right? You are paying for insurance. What's the issue? Okay. I suspect, this is another text, that the rationale why the opposition leader may be so relatively quiet about the apparent abuse of emergency powers by the present Prime Minister is perhaps the potential use of this mechanism after he becomes Prime Minister. What now? History has shown that each Prime Minister appears to push the door open just a bit wider as regards abusing the rights and privileges of the people. Well, I mean, I think, okay. First of all, they've spoken quite a bit. The opposition has spoken quite a bit about what's happening, about stuff not making sense, asking for the rationale and the science behind the decisions that are being made. They've been very vocal on that. But, you know, if you're worried about abuse, right, in the future, you need to be satisfied that there's an emergency, that there's something going on. And if you're not, then you have their mechanisms by which you can deal with that. So if you don't think this is an emergency situation right now, then maybe you should be more vocal about it. But I mean, I think very few will disagree with the fact that these are not normal times. But if you think on a regular day in the future when everybody's vaccinated, that somebody could just say we're going to have a curfew and a lockdown, and you sit back and take it, well, then that's a problem. And it's actually more on you than anybody else to sit back and allow that to happen. But these are not normal times. These are not normal times. This one says here, this is about the Prime Minister, and this man has too much power. Okay. Your Constitution allows it. This one says, this makes no sense. What about those getting married outdoors or not in a religious facility? I don't need more people. I'd like a reception. Can I do outdoor dining at my venue with a caterer? Other people are celebrating baby showers, birthdays, etc. at restaurants, 20 people at a table, and all no masks because you need to drink and eat. People dancing up in the middle of restaurants with no masks as they get to and from the table. So tell me, what's the difference? Plus now, naming a place is open for people to socialize. Why can't he allow receptions just outdoors? I guess the same protocols in place. We want to be safe too. Political parties walking side by side with masks outdoors. So why can't I do that as a reception? Yep, those are very good questions. Very good questions. And I mean, you're going to be upset with me, but I'm going to say, yeah, have everybody in a certain color shirt.
The difference between outdoor dining and a reception is the name.
Maybe call it a pop-up restaurant. I don't know. Something. and have everybody in one color shirt say we're a political party. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they may ask you for all your licenses and all those things. I'm not sure. But you are asking the right questions. You are asking the right questions. I agree with you. Here, I agree with Dave. Nurses and doctors should be the only people on the team, but not Mr. Fields, but people who work in the medical field. Well, you know, he's willing to talk, and some of those people aren't always willing to talk. And so he's not the only person on the team. There are many other people on the team. He'll tell us exactly who else is on the team. But again,
but there's lots of other things. There's logistics and planning.
Yeah. People get caught up in the
minutiae. Those people don't have to be health officials.
Right. People get caught up in the minutiae a lot, but you need a lot of people on an effective team. You will need media people. You will need, as Chester says, logistics people who've run a business before, not just the technocrats, not just the you get what I'm saying? But anyway, okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Dwight, I noticed you read some of the quotes from that report, but you missed out a part of that.
Which part?
The possible risk outweigh the benefit. So the possible, let me read it. Okay. People from coronavirus-related deaths or hospitalization outweighs the possible risk. Though, this is the part you missed out, though it said a link between blood clots in the brain and the shot could not definitively be ruled out.
I did read that part.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, they still cannot rule out definitively a link between certain rare types of blood clots in the vaccine. And they're thinking about adding a description of these cases to the vaccine leaflets. Yep, we did read that.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, right, there's billions of dollars on the line for this thing. And, of course, they're going to find a reason to, make sure that people actually are satisfied that whatever test study they did is in the best light, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it is actually a very small number of people who got the blood clots.
well, there are people who died. That's the biggest part we need to look at.
Well, we haven't heard that from AstraZeneca. Have you heard that?
People did die from this.
Okay.
At least 10. Regardless if it was one person did die because.
I mean, it's very strange. I don't remember if specifically you were one of those, but there were lots of people who were saying, "So what? People die all the time. Why should we shut down our economy?" So it's not a big deal when people die.
That is the question also.
Oh, so it's not a big deal when people die from the virus, but people die from the vaccine. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Stop it now.
No, but I was not one of those persons who said that, though. So, but that's their point to make.
Okay.
But the fact is, even if one person died, that's the issue. I mean, the vaccine is untested, like in the past.
Yeah.
It is new. It is a new procedure.
Yep,
people should be concerned about the risk that's involved in it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. But does that mean you need to stop? People die from acetaminophen.
Well, let's
people die from ibuprofen.
The United States has millions of doses of the vaccine, of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and they have not used one dose of it yet.
And they say they are waiting the approval. They say that
Right.
it may come in the next few days.
Those same vaccines, what they have, those millions, they send into Canada and Mexico, but they're not using it. All I want BAMES to do is, you can download the report yourself and read the conclusion as to what they said about the study, and make your own determination whether you want to use it or not. I mean, we should have the right to do that and make up our minds.
And you do?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning.
Quality University along with you in Chester, Dwight.
Hi.
Dwight, you are very clever.
Oh, okay.
Let me ask you something before I make my comment. That person would send a text pertaining to insurance. What that said?
They say they're a little nervous because they don't know if anything happens to them, whether their insurance will cover.
Well, that's a very understanding text. You know what I'm saying? That means something. Here it is. If you're not compelled to take it, what it means that nobody going to take responsible for you if anything happened to you pertaining to taking it. You see my point? And the thing is, there's a possibility that you can take it, or if you take it, something can happen to you. And what happens? Insurance don't pay for it.
Right.
Okay? If they die, if it goes negligent, the people children won't get
I
anything.
do not believe, I can't allow this to continue.
Say it again?
I do not believe that is how insurance works. Okay?
Well,
that is
right.
not how it works. That is not how it works. No. Talk to your insurance companies if you're concerned. But think about that carefully. Does it sound like that makes sense? Does it sound like it makes sense? Okay. And if your insurance company tells you something like that, then you need to drop them and go to a different company. This text here, the only way we know if the vaccine is safe is if the media takes it first. Is it? Really? Well, okay. I mean, well, okay.
They're not serious about that text.
Well, sure. Well, the Prime Minister took it, and the Governor General. So
and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess if the Prime Minister starts making sense, then we'll know something did happen. But yeah. Let's take this call before we take a break. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, the insurance companies, or at least the representatives addressed that issue on Levo Miller show yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same coverage. There's no change in coverage whatsoever based on their side. I don't know why individuals are painting that picture. That's an incorrect narrative.
It's really ridiculous.
Also, there are some European countries that admitted yesterday that they were using the vaccination process as a political ploy to put pressure on the British government to get more vaccines.
Right. And with all the issues with Brexit and them leaving the EU, it's very they have a very shaky relationship now.
So I found that entire situation sickening because it not only spread the narrative of these anti-vaxxers, but it also put a hold on smaller nations getting vaccines by them acting in such a selfish nature.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with the U.S. has millions of vials of AstraZeneca, and they refused to even give it to Canada or Mexico, right? Because they're still waiting for AstraZeneca to make a request for emergency approval. And so that narrative that I hear anti-vaxxers pushing, that these larger nations are pushing this lower efficacy vaccine on smaller nations, that's non-valid. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
My thing is that it is a personal choice, and I commend the leader of the Progressive Party and also its chairman coming out. Not only the chairman has taken it, but also the leader of the opposition has finally came out and backed it. And so I'm happy to hear certain supporters of that party coming out and singing a different tune now. So it's a good step. It's a step in a good direction. I think we as a country need it at this time. We need collaborative across both party lines.
Yeah.
Collaboration. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Dwight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, we gotta. So this is the new thing now, the insurance. Okay. Getting quite a few text messages about that. And the excuse, hey, don't take it if you're that concerned. But also don't speculate. Go and ask them. Ask them. Don't just put that out there, just pulling out anything you could find out of wherever. Ask your insurance company. I bet you half the people sending these text messages don't even have insurance. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
$7:34 the time for your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Here's what's happening in your real-time traffic. We've got some Smile Butler Highway northbound lanes, heavy traffic already. Just noticing that the closer you get to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, the roundabout there. Glaston Road traffic is also building in the northbound lane heading towards JFK Drive. And Blue Hill Road northbound just north of Soldier Road. You're going to see that traffic building as you get closer to Independence Drive in the roundabout there. Elsewhere, pockets along Prince Charles Drive. Don't forget that there's a stretch of single lane, both directions, traffic as the paving works, the resurfacing works continue just west of Fox Hill Road there. So keep that in mind, especially as we get closer to peak morning hour rush. But so far, that's what we're looking at. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And we've got another check of your weather brought to you by Rev. Here's what's happening. A weak cold front will enter the extreme northwest Bahamas by later this morning, while high pressure will slide towards the east. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents. For the northwest Bahamas today, forecast calls for partly sunny and warm conditions with a gradual increase in clouds, scattered showers, and isolated thunderstorms as the front approaches. Small craft caution continues over the extreme northwest Bahamas today. For the southeast and central Bahamas, mostly sunny and hot with a slight chance of a passing shower, becoming partly cloudy with a chance of a brief shower later tonight. Temperature-wise, we are looking at highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. We are at 73 right now under partly cloudy skies in Nassau. For extended outlook as we head into the weekend, that frontal boundary is expected to become stationary with a low-pressure center forming along the front on Saturday in the northwest Bahamas. So for tomorrow, look for partly cloudy conditions with isolated showers and possible thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas, mostly sunny and hot with a chance of showers over the remainder of the islands. Sunday, partly cloudy with isolated showers and possible thunderstorms, mainly across the northwestern islands, mostly sunny and hot with a chance of a few showers over the remainder of the islands. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check brought to you by Rev. Basketball fans, this one's for you. Sign up for Rev Trio or upgrade to Rev Trio and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded ropes, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on- and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Man told him what hers was. He gave her a story about life with a glint in his eye and a corner of a smile. One conversation, a simple moment, the things that change us if we notice when we look up sometimes. They said I would never make it, but I was built to break the mold. The only dream that I've been chasing is my own. So I sing a song for the hustlers trading at the bus stop, single mothers waiting on a check to come, young teachers, student doctors, sons on the front line knowing they don't get to run. This goes up to the underdog. Keep on keeping at what you know. You'll find that someday, soon enough, you will rise up, yeah.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Friday this morning. We're talking about the vaccine and the vaccine rollout and quite a few people getting their shots. You said it before, Chester. You don't like when people call it the jab. And I see some people out there trying to make that be a thing too. I don't know. Since you brought it up to me, now I can't. If I hear jab, I get... Oh, it's like I just got injected with something. But yeah, shots. Can we say shots? The jab thing, keep that over there on that side of the pond. As they say.
Right.
Right? But, oh boy, the shots. Yeah. Okay. Although, I have to say, there was a headline after the Prime Minister got his. And, this is a very violent we have here. Guns, shots. But it said, big headline, shot in the arm. I'm like, oh no. Like, that kind of shot. So maybe jab might be better. Anyway, All right, so this is what happened yesterday with more getting their vaccines, their shots, their jabs. Take a listen to this report from our Berthany McDermott.
Governor General C.A. Smith and his wife among those getting their first COVID-19 shot today as the rollout of the vaccine continue in the capital, despite a power outage. National Vaccine Consultative Committee co-chair Ed Field says the current COVID-19 vaccination sites on New Providence can inoculate more than 680 persons per day, with Loyola Hall making up the bulk of that figure.
Well, right now we have this particular center open. This is open to 500. Princess Margaret can do, they're doing about 80 or so a day. They can expand that depending on demand. We're going to go to San Luis today to look at what their capacity is. Doctors Hospital has the capacity to do about 100 and so.
If necessary, Field says the capital has the capacity to ramp up the number of shots in arms to more than 2,000 per day.
If we had all the vaccine in the world, we could get up to where we could do 2,500 people a day, because we have sites already identified. We have sites already planned. We have a couple of, we are even looking at drive-through sites. So we're ready to go once we get the supply.
The plan is to open as many vaccination sites as possible. However, Field says the strategy is subject to change daily based on supply.
The priority groups that might have been enunciated, a month ago, if you recall, we were supposed to get PAHO said we would get 100,000 vaccines by the end of February. Well, that didn't happen. So we had to change the distribution strategy. We have 20,000 vaccines, okay? So we kind of halved the distribution strategy because we only had 20,000. We'll have to look to see if the supply that we were promised at the end of March is coming in, and we may have to change the strategy again.
Amid concerns that vaccines may expire due to vaccination hesitancy, Field says the committee will not accept any vaccine near the expiration date.
First of all, we're not taking vaccines, supply, possession, or receiving vaccines. We won't take them if they're near the expiration date. I can tell you that from our chairman's perspective, anything that is near expiration date is a no-go.
And if you're wondering what happens in the event of a major power outage, Field says there's a plan for that too.
Well, all of these facilities we have generators. So there was just a little minor glitch with the generator. We're also on the BPL, and they're going to be back on shortly. So, but the thing is, we could have operated for about a half hour or so without the power, but our design is that every facility we have will have backup power.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Right. And as we said, we're expecting to talk with Ed Fields a little more this morning in just a few. But interesting comments there. No reason to be concerned about power issue and about expiring vaccines. And despite all the uncertainty about it, it will be great. I know someone brought it up yesterday. If we could find out, if there could be a poll, a survey of some sort to know how many people actually do intend to get this. We see people texting in and saying that they are ready and they want to go. But definitely for every one of those, there are 4 or 5 people who say they don't want it. At least people texting into this show. So I don't know if it's different. It'd be good to know. But we will see. We will see. Chester, when you going to get yours?
When they let me.
Oh, okay. Look at that. That's beautiful. So
I also have to consult with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's a family thing.
Yes, of course. Of course it is. That's good. Good to hear. Call in, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 254259. Text is 422-4796. All right, this person here, more on insurance. Oh, my goodness. 2 quick points. This insurance narrative is a non-issue because it has been addressed. It can be addressed by making a phone call to an insurance provider. Same thing I just said, right? That's all. If you are really concerned, just call them. And as I said, if they're giving you a hard time, they probably shouldn't be your insurance provider.
Are they talking about life insurance or health insurance?
Well, Oh boy, Chester. Okay. The texter goes on to say, my guess is that these individuals that have this concern don't have insurance. Yeah, you're just repeating the same thing they said. And just want to push a new narrative, or just want a new narrative to push. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Also, didn't the government pass legislation in January that allowed for a formation of a hearing board and payment for individuals with adverse effects on vaccines? Well, they mentioned it. They mentioned it. How confident are you that, that would go the way you want? All right, let's take this call really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay, no. All right, so let's go. We have Ed Fields, who is the co-chair of the Vaccine Consultative Committee, with us this morning. Ed Fields, good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend. Good morning, Ed. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yes, we can hear you now. Great to have you with us this morning. All right.
Okay, good to hear.
So this was a lot of good information yesterday. So let's just reiterate it. Let's restate it for folks who might not have heard the report we played a few minutes ago. But the number of vaccines, I know some people were thinking the number that we heard from PMH was going to be all that was going to be possible, but that is definitely not the case. And we can do a couple thousand at least. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, this. I want to make sure that everyone, and first of all, thanks for having me on, Dwight. What we're in the process of doing now is making sure that it's correct. Okay. What was stated was that if we were able to open up, if we had the supply that we wanted, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of doses, right? If we had that level of supply, we could open up centers all around New Providence, the Family Islands, and Grand Bahama, and we would be able to do thousands a day. We would have that capacity to do thousands a day. Number one, we do not have the supply, okay, that we need to open it, to do that kind of volume. And number two, we just don't need to open up those many centers yet because we don't have that many doses to distribute.
All right. So for what we do have, where are you able to get a vaccine at this point?
If you are a healthcare worker, you can get vaccines at PMH. In other words, let me be very specific. If you work for the PMH group of organizations, you are able to get your PMH. If you work for Doctors Hospital or any other hospitals, you can get your vaccine through Doctors Hospital. If you work at Sandilands, as of today, you will be able to get vaccines at Sandilands. If you are in the public health sector, you will be able to get your vaccine at Loyola Hall. We, as of yesterday, because there was low uptake on the Loyola Hall site, we then opened up to 65 years and older. Mm-hmm. Now, people think, well, why would you do that? Well, once we open up a site, we have literally hundreds of appointments. If those appointments are not taken up or used, what we then do is say, look, we don't want these vaccines to waste. So there are, thousands of people who want vaccines. So we kind of go to the next tier of priority, which in this instance was the 65-year-old olders. It should be mentioned, though, that doesn't stop those who are public health care workers from making appointments into as far as next week. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we are also going to be opening up on Monday the Defense Force, okay? And on Monday as well, we will be opening up the RAND and RAND Healthcare Services in Grand Bahama. So we're doing this in a staggered way, in a methodical way, so that we can be efficient. And today is going to be a big test, right? Because this will be the first day that we know, because we have our system is able to tell what we have. We have full capacities of appointments at Loyola Hall, which is close to 500 persons.
Okay, great. You said a lot just now. Let's break down some of those. All right, appointments. So you definitely need to have an appointment. If you're over 65, you just can't walk into Loyola Hall or something like that. No.
Yeah.
All right. So,
and Dwight, I really want to emphasize that, and I want you to emphasize that. We are doing this by appointment because if we don't, we will have chaos and we will have lines. We are not in a position today or any day going forward to allow, I'm going to use the word allow, but to be able to accommodate people who do not have appointments. We ask you to go online. We only have a limited amount of appointments because of the dosage available to make an appointment. If you don't have an appointment, unfortunately, we will ask you to go and to try to make an appointment for another day. Also, if you have an appointment, you must bring either your healthcare ID, otherwise we'll ask you to go and get it, or if you have an appointment and you're over 65, we're going to ask you to bring proof of age. Now, of course, we're not going to be unreasonable, but someone who is a healthcare worker, we can't tell that without an ID. We're going to need that ID.
Mm-hmm.
And we also are looking at doing some other particular groups today as well. But other than that, we're trying to just have a smooth flow process and see if we can get people through. Yesterday we did about at Loyola Hall. Once we opened up, we did about 200 plus people. So and it went relatively smoothly. So we're trying to avoid what you see in the States, chaos and lines.
All right. So how do you make the appointment? What site do you go on? What do you do?
Yeah, so that has been distributed. It's a site. I don't have the URL right at the tip of my head, unfortunately, but we've distributed it. I know that your organization has it. And once you click on, it's a 1.5 minute process. And if there are appointments available, you can just make an appointment and come on down.
Okay, we'll get those details in a bit. All right, so you're saying that so far there's been low uptake, so there's been minimal interest.
Let me correct that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been low uptake so far in the Loyola Hall as it relates to public healthcare workers. Mm-hmm. For instance, at Princess Margaret Hospital, we know today they open up close to 100 appointments, and they're almost near capacity, if not near at capacity. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing movement. Right?
Okay. I don't know if you can respond to this or if you can answer this, but we've been hearing from some of the unions, the healthcare unions, that they have not been involved in this process. Do you think that may be accounting for the reason that you aren't seeing this level of participation at Loyola Hall, at least?
Right. Well, first of all, the union, the Loyola Hall is more so on the public health department side, not necessarily nurses or consultant doctors or anyone. But we're seeing that pickup. We at Sandilands, for instance, they have full capacity. At Princess Margaret today, they're going to have full capacity. I am not going to comment on what the union's concerns are at this time, because I don't fully have an understanding of it. What I do know is that we as a committee are making every effort to make sure that we can distribute these vaccines. Quite frankly, I don't know what the issue is, because our job simply is to create a process to distribute vaccines. I can assure you of one thing, though. We are not void of doctors and nurses and people who occupy those professions on the committee. We have the CMO, we have the deputy CMO, we have the nurse Nurse Bastian, who's in charge of immunizations. We have Cindy Dorset, who is the president of the Medical Association of the Bahamas. There's a whole range of medical professionals on the committee.
Mm-hmm. All right. You mentioned the Defense Force and Freeport beginning next week. What else are we going to be seeing going forward? Who comes next?
Well, that really depends on supply. I mean, we next would like to see, obviously, some other uniform services involved. And I might add that the over 65s are going to be at a limited amount of appointments for now, and they will not take away from the other priority groups, because what we're doing is filling in slots that have not been taken. This thing is dynamic. It is requiring us to every day, every hour, make decisions. We don't wish to waste a drop of vaccine. But these groups and these priority groups are prescribed internationally. Healthcare workers, uniform services, people over 65. We then will look at, again, we'll look at teachers. We will look at hospitality workers, and then, of course, going to the general public. This all, again, I'm going to reemphasize this over and over, unfortunately, until people are tired of hearing me. This all is based on the supply we have. As soon as we get supply, we open up more groups. We have no reason to withhold a vaccine. This is not some sort of secret deal. We're just waiting for supply.
Are we on track? We know we're supposed to get the COVAX shipment either by the end of the month or early April. Are we on track for that?
All I can tell you is that the knowledge that I have is that, we're expecting these things imminently. We don't know the exact dates yet. As soon as we do, we will advise the public, because once we do, we can then start to create more sites and to distribute more vaccine. So, you've been following this, Dwight. There is a lot of politics going on, a lot of global politics going on. And that global politics, it's affecting supply internationally. Britain, for instance, had hoped to start vaccinating people 50 years and younger starting in May, and they've recently had to say, look, we're going to have to push that back. And they're the producers of the AstraZeneca. So all of this is affected by a supply. We are a reliant nation. We do not make vaccine, and so we have to look at all of the, depend on all of the factors that go into delivering, shipping, and landing vaccine here.
All right, we're getting quite a few text messages here. Somebody's asking, what about private healthcare workers, maybe those who aren't affiliated with doctors' hospitals, maybe the private clinics? When are they going to be able to make appointments?
From what I understand, they can log on now as long as they bring their healthcare, their healthcare ID. And I want to emphasize, we know people. There are as many people, Dwight, that are opposed to vaccines. The people who want a vaccine are rabidly supportive and want to take the vaccine. Please, if you work for a healthcare center, fill in the application, the appointment thing, if there are appointments available, and do one thing: bring your healthcare ID. But don't please. We yesterday, was our first day of opening this center to the public, and there are people who may have slipped through the cracks, but we are going to be extremely diligent today. Extremely diligent. Because why? The people who made appointments, we're going to make sure that they get served first. And those who made appointments, we're asking you two things. If you're over 65, bring proof of age. If you're a healthcare worker, bring an ID that says you work at a healthcare facility. If you are and of course, we need to see your appointment. We will not be able to do appointments on the spot, and we will not be able to make exceptions with regard to IDs and proof of age.
All right, we're getting a few more questions coming in. We got to break. You can stick with us for a few more minutes after the news. Right? Is that right? I know.
Yeah, I'll call you back in.
Okay, excellent stuff. We're going to pick that up after the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
To break the mold. The only dream that I've been chasing is my own. So I sing a song for the hustlers trading at the bus stop, single mothers waiting on a check to come, young teachers, student doctors, sons on the front line knowing they don't get to run. Let's go down
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
We pick up and deliver for businesses and individuals, and we're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for deliveries anywhere in Nassau. TF Express Delivery, the Uber for items, packages, and documents. Call us today at 815-4628 or visit our website, tfxdelivery.com.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices. Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit bealive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wanna believe that you don't have a bad bone in your body, but the bruises on your ego make you go wow, 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 yeah. Wanna believe that even when you're stone cold, you're sorry. Tell me why you gotta be so out of your mind, yeah. I know you're choking on your fears. Already told you I'm right here. I will stay by your side every night. I don't know why you hurt.
We are back at Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Friday morning. We're going to try to reconnect with Ed Fields in just a moment to continue our discussion. We know we don't have him for long. They're very busy today, as you heard earlier, rolling out this vaccine appointment issue and getting the vaccines. Getting people vaccinated today, and so we know we only have him for a brief moment, but that's coming up, Chester. So we've got some of the questions coming in. As soon as we get back with Ed, we'll ask those, but I see some calls coming in as well, and if you have any questions, give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Okay, I don't know if you have a co-host there with you this morning.
Yeah, Chester's went on with us.
Oh, yeah, and good morning, Chester, and good morning to the nation. Dwight, listening to Ed Fields quite the tail end of what he was saying, I have a concern. It seems as though, based upon his communication, that they're taking the approach to open multiple centers or maximum centers for efficiency across the country or across New Providence based on the volume or the amount of vaccines that they anticipated having, which they did not meet. I don't see that as efficient, nor do I see it as effective, nor do I see it as all-encompassing, simply because of
I don't think that's what he said, though.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. I'm only being polite when I put it that way. And the reason why I'm saying that is this, Dwight. The entire approach for a vaccination process should be people-centric and people-centered, completely, absolutely, beyond a shadow of doubt. It should have very little to do with the amount of vaccines that you have in hand, because the idea or the objective, the singular most important objective.
Anton, I think there were 4 places they named.
No, but Dwight, let me just make this.
But I really think you're nitpicking now. I mean, there's an appointment process. There's an appointment process. But your point is not. Your point is flawed, though.
You haven't even heard the point as yet.
You already started off with a terrible premise.
You haven't even heard the point as yet.
Well, make it make sense.
Kindly show me the respect to let me make the point, please.
Yeah, but you just can't knock something for no reason.
Agree or not, Dwight? At least allow me the point. All right?
Make it make sense.
All I'm saying is this, okay? All I'm saying is this. The whole idea behind a vaccination process should be to accommodate people, okay? Not based on the amount of vaccines that you have. That should be the determining factor as to how many stations. You do not know if persons have access to get to those meager 4 stations. You should look to accommodate the persons, especially those age categories, and look at where the concentration of those age categories are, and provide the service or provide the concierge service to those individuals. That should be the contributing factor. You should have your budget in place to accommodate the people rather than to accommodate the amount of vaccines. That's a major flaw that I'm advising Ed Fields and their board to reapproach and correct. Thank you for the opportunity.
Anton, it's an appointment process, and I'm sure that can be arranged if you make your appointment, right? And it just sounds like you're just picking for the sake of picking. That's what it sounds like there, right? Let's see. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take another call. Good morning. Caller, you're on the air.
Mr. Strachan.
Hi. Okay, you're back. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Strachan.
Hi.
Now you see why people, it's a process and you have to take them right, but whenever Ed Fields involved, it's illegal. You had the arrogance man run over.
No, I did not. Dave, I don't know. You all have some issues, some personal issues. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? And we already said it. You already said that you're not interested. So if you're not interested, come on. You were going to, it could have been Mother Teresa. I mean, you wouldn't want to hear from Mother Teresa that she's no longer with us. It could have been someone like that. Right? And you would have a problem with it. Oh, boy.
I'm not even sure what they're talking about. I mean, part of the plan is to go to some of the most vulnerable people, like the elderly in homes and stuff. So that's already part of the plan. And why would he say it has nothing? It shouldn't have anything to do with the number of vaccines.
That's one of the main things that's going to influence it.
Exactly. I tell you.
I'm afraid to.
Because if you ain't none, then you don't need no centers.
Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Hey, good morning. Who is Stephen?
That's Chester.
Chester. Morning, Chester.
Hey, morning.
Dwight,
What's happening?
tell me something. When you, say for instance, I only hypothetically
You got to
speaking,
turn
I
on
go
your
take this
radio.
vaccine
We're hearing
today,
your
right?
radio. We're hearing your radio.
Would I get some sort of, like, I wouldn't say a permit, but would you get something in writing that, okay, hold on. Sorry about that. Would you get some sort of, like, piece of paper or some saying that Dwight Williams took the vaccine? But I know I can't ease up with not wearing my mask. But would I be able to congregate with family members after I take this vaccine?
This
Because,
is what
I can be honest with you. The problem in our country is that people don't understand that when Chester Mike can understand something and Dwight can understand it, the other person needs you to break it down a little bit more in content. See, everyone have conspiracy theory about this vaccine, but a lot of persons are not trying to educate. And I think you got almost blasted out from a gentleman last week when you talked about educating about the vaccine, when he said that it's only a vaccine. But it's not like that with some people. So if you educate some of our people and you break it down in layman terms or Bahamian terminology with slangs, maybe they can understand it, Mr. Strachan, a little bit more better. It's only to educate the people, I mean, we can have conspiracy theories, of course, we're humans. But if you educate the people, I think whoever educates the people the best way they can, it does not matter whoever it is.
I hear you, Dwight. The people have to be
willing.
willing to be educated, though, right? All week long, we've had people. We had Dr. Nakia Forbes. We had Dr. Dwayne Sands on Monday. We had Dr. Boisson from Paho on Tuesday. Every day, there are other shows that people are saying these things, and people refuse to listen. They've made up their mind, and that's their business. But if you've made up your mind, thank you very much. And you don't have to be calling every day to try to put seeds of doubt in the minds of people who are going to be okay with the vaccine. Yeah, we hear you. You have concerns. And we all have concerns. But every day, you finding a way, not you, of course, right? I'm just saying somebody finding a way to just pick at this, it doesn't make any sense.
But Dwight, let me say this to you. I want to say choices. You had a choice to come to the Guardian this morning. You had a choice to stay home, right?
Well,
hello.
Okay, well, I mean, you mean
no. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm talking about choices, sir. You had a choice to come to work or stay
there
home.
would have been consequences. I mean, I could do the show from home.
It could be consequences, but you have a choice. I'm using the word choice. So you have a choice if you want to take it or you don't want to take it. Now, I don't know what the big talk is with a lot of people. And I was in a discussion with someone yesterday in a Zoom meeting, right? And they was talking about this vaccine. Listen, my brother, if you don't want to take it, don't take it. If the sister want to take it, she could take it. If the other brother want to take it. You have a choice.
Yes.
It's either yes or no.
That is true.
Simple as that. It didn't make no sense of me getting rallied up in hypertension and my blood pressure rising up about the vaccine. Well, the only thing I'm concerned about, Mr. Strachan, to be honest with you and anyone who's listening, is that we can get back to some sort of normalcy and to see some of my people to get back on a job, right, that they can provide for themselves and they don't have to be dependent on the government or nobody else for handouts. That's all I'm concerned about, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all
Thank you.
have a good day, bro.
Thank you very much. I do want to answer what you said earlier, DeWitt, and right. So, that's what we're hearing, right? The CDC and the Prime Minister mentioned it earlier in the week, that after you take the vaccine, certain people might be able to congregate. They might be able to do certain things together. That might be allowed, I guess, if the emergency orders continue. That's what he's saying. That's what people are saying in other parts of the world. But the mask wearing may still need to happen because it's not going to prevent you, it seems, from getting COVID, but it may lessen the severity of whatever it is that you get. And so you have to keep that in mind.
The vaccine does create a shield around you.
Right. Exactly. All right. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, it seems to me as if, I don't know if people are biased, right? But, fact check. I got to start saying that when I call. But everything I've been saying is really being correct, And Dr. Gerd Bosch verified that on a viral video. He sent a letter out to all the international medical community, right? Now, the point is, there's a lot of mass psychosis and mass and disinformation going on, even by the pundits, all right? Because when you listen, I bet you no journalist, but there was a medical journalist online. I see him all the time. Somebody has sent it to me. And he's a medical journalist, and he's the one who put out the letter from Dr. Gerd Bosch, a German virologist, and he worked for GlaxoSmithKline, Novavax. As a matter of fact, his resume is so long, and he actually worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as the senior program officer of global health, right? But he had various portfolios at various different companies, including Verico, Univax, all these people. He's actually a pro-vaxxer. So he played a role in developing a lot of vaccines, but he actually put out this anti-vax on COVID-19. So what I'm saying is they're driving the narrative. What makes a person an anti-vax? And so the fact that our pundits haven't put out a fact sheet, like how they did in India, right? Let's say like people with autoimmune diseases, people with bleeding disorders, pregnancy or breastfeeding, displaying fever, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And someone with who has already contracted COVID, like this vaccination is not for everybody. And I haven't seen them put that out there. And then Raymond had called you yesterday, and there was some misconfusion. But you see, Dwight, the immune system is not as simple as you think. The innate and the adaptive immune response is quite complicated. I'm telling you. And the fact that you can't understand it for what you said to him, because the text was actually correct when they said that people who contracted COVID naturally actually have antibodies, right? And what happened is the key, what Dr. Gerd is saying, Bosch is saying is, and he's correct, this is all published information, but the fact that people are judging me for calling and sharing information that I can understand, this is going to be the downfall of us, because you have non-specific and specific antibodies. And what happened is, this is why I said on Warren Show, I've been saying this all along, that everybody think that they're trying to make you believe that the natural immune response is less than the induced immune response. So when they give you a vaccination in this form, you get an induced antibody response. And so that is specific. So that's why I asked one the other day, if the vaccine is monoclonal or polyclonal, that means it would target more than one pathogen or just one. So what Dr. Gerd means by viral immune escape is the fact that your innate system is better than the induced innate antibody system. The antibodies that you induce would be recalled whenever you have a new variant or a new infection, and they wouldn't be able to respond to the other variants, the other types of the virus. Then your non-specific natural immune system, all right, is the one that would be able to capture any variant. This is why I was saying your innate system could still recognize the phenotype. But of course, I don't know what I'm talking about. But let me tell you something. I'm sorry for all us, because guess what happened? You saw the video, you saw the information coming out with 12,000 people already contracted COVID, post-COVID vaccinations, and they said 69 had already received the 2 shots. And also, you know that on their own site, Pfizer, they show that people responded better from a half dose and receiving the second full dose. That means with less liquid, they had a better immune response than people who received the full dose. This coming from their own scientists from Johns Hopkins University. But see, this is why I've been saying for years, we need a scientific journalist, right? And this is what it is, because we're being duped. We're based on ignorance, like Dwight say, education, right? But even as Dwight speak, he need to go in the immune system, because I notice he keeps saying conspiracy theories. These are not conspiracy theories. These are facts. You guys saw the viral video about the guy talking about the tetanus shot being laced with human chorionic gonadotropin in Kenya. You see what I'm saying? So you guys need to read the story on the false pandemic being declared a couple of years ago with the vaccine companies. We have to understand the power of big pharma, We We are not able to juxtapose all that's going on in the world. They're bankrupt countries and nations, and now you're weak. And this is what they're preying on. It is the science. There's no logic in the science. If you listen to Dr. Fauci actually tells you that the virus, like C. Allen said, is lodged in the nasal passage. And why then, since we so smart, why we can't just use a nasal vaccine from Medicago or someone that actually attacks the virus from the point of infection and the point of spreading the infection, which means you sneeze it out and you breathe it in. So the fact that there's no logic, you still have to wear the mask, you still can spread it. It's so much dubiousness. You can't see the logic behind this foolishness. And listen, I even proud to be a part of humanity because the education system will fail all of us because critical thinkers and anyone who deviates. Let me tell you something. I am not the guy who sent out the statement, Dr. Gerd van den Bosch. He's not an anti-vaccine. This guy worked for all of these pharmaceutical companies, and he is disclosing the truth. But because people don't understand what the bioimmune escape is, it's the same thing that I've been saying, which means antibody-dependent enhancement and disease enhancement. And they know this, all right? The smallpox pandemic showed that people who developed smallpox immunity naturally had a lifetime immunity versus those who were vaxxed, man. I need immune system. Hey, go and read, man. That's why sick of these things. That's a good thanks,
Go ahead. You're welcome, Bahamas. You're welcome.
Seems he always reaches that point where he's sick and then he's gone.
I feel that's how a vaccine works. It gets in there, it's like goes crazy in you and deals with all the stuff, and then right. Oh my goodness. Okay. Can we take a commercial break? Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a little walk. We'll be back. Let's do that. This is the Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
But if you're gonna fight, then do it for me. I know you built a love for broken hearts, so just try. I know you're choking on your fears. Already told you I'm right here. I will stay by your side every night. I don't know where you hide from the one thing. Close your eyes to the one that's up.
Looking for plenty food and you're on a budget?
Wait, on break.
Stop into Wendy's and grab our latest bundle. Introducing the Biggie Bag. With the new Biggie Bag, you get a Dave's Singles, junior fries, regular drink, and 4-piece nuggets for only $7.25, VAT inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more. Now that's a deal. It's the best on these streets. Available at all locations. Restrictions apply. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Always on the go? Missed a show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Wanna believe that even when you're stone cold, you're sorry. Tell me why you gotta be so out of your mind. I know you're choking on your fears. Already told you I'm right here. I will stay by your side every night. I don't know where you hide from the one thing. Close your eyes to the one that's up and lie to the one that you love. When you know you can cry to the one.
We could do that. We could play music until 9 o'clock. And then we go to Morning Blend Business. That might be better for everybody. Everybody's worked up. No, Chester, what do you think of that? I could like play DJ. I could say this song from 2015. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back to the show, Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. It's a Friday, so maybe that's what's happening. We're trying to reconnect with Ed. I know he said he was going to be very busy. So we got a little bit about him, a little bit from him. I know he said the site, we've posted it, and on Facebook and Twitter, where you can get the information to register, to make the appointment for the vaccine, right? So log on to doctorshosp.com/vaccine-registration.html. That is not easy to remember there. But again, I've posted it on our Facebook page, Morning Blend Facebook page, and on Twitter. So if you follow us, and you really should be doing that, it's all there. And you can make your appointments. You're going to need an appointment. You just can't walk in and do this, right? So that's what's happening there. The phone lines are all lit up. I'm very afraid. It's Friday. I didn't sleep last night. I woke up at 2 o'clock, and I haven't been asleep since then. Can you believe that? What's going on with me? So, this is going to if these calls going to. Okay, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Well, we are here. We're here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dwight, by the chance, let me ask a question. And I think it's a reasonable question. Would this vaccine be recognized if a Bahamian citizen were to take it in the U.S. or some other state? Would it be recognized or would it be logged as somebody who has been vaccinated for the Bahamas?
All right, say that again. You mean if you take it here and go to the U.S.?
Me as a Bahamian citizen, if I travel to the U.S. or to the U.K. or somewhere and I decided to take the vaccine over there, would it be recognized here in the Bahamas? Would I be registered as a Bahamian citizen who has been vaccinated?
I'm pretty sure you would. Yes.
Okay.
I thought you were asking if the other way around.
And I ask that because in my recent passing, I think the biggest issue here with Bahamians is a trust factor with the government. Citizens of the Commonwealth government just don't trust this government, and that's why this is such an issue. Because I don't see why so many people have issues with this vaccine that the government is trying to dispense to the people and everything. So if they were told that they had an option to, if they travel to the U.S. or to the U.K. or some other country that is given the vaccine, and if they wish to take it there and it would be registered as a vaccinated citizen, maybe that could help, but I just think it's a trust factor with the government.
That's very, very unfortunate. But I do understand.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Somebody was asking yesterday, a text, didn't get a chance to read that though, but they're asking if you take it here, take AstraZeneca with this one not being approved as yet by the FDA, would they accept it if you went to the U.S.? And again, I don't see it. And it is anticipated that the FDA will approve this vaccine soon, maybe within the week, right? And we will see. Let's take a call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. Oh, okay. Let's take the other one. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. So, Mr. Strachan, will you be taking the vaccine?
Yeah, everyone's asking me that. I will take something. Yeah. I don't know when. But yes, I'll be taking a vaccine. Maybe this one. When it is, that remains to be seen. Yeah, but I do plan on getting a vaccine, definitely. And caller, you are on the air. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Dwight, I understand why you're taking your deep sighs and breaths this morning. I mean, I sat down for the last hour just listening to all the commentary and everything, and trust me, you are a very brave soldier, my brother, because some of the nonsense I've been hearing this morning even had me here fighting on your side. Let me just say this very quickly here. Yes, it's unfortunate that the Bahamians do have a hesitancy as it comes down, as it relates to trusting this government, as the previous caller has stated. Firstly, all of this started with the conspiracies of the Bill and Melinda Gates. This nano technology and all this stuff. Then it spiraled down to the government not being given a clear, definitive picture from the beginning stages of where we were going with these vaccines. Now, fast forward now, with all of the negativity that has been put out there, and then the government now trying to convince persons to take this vaccine because they deem it safe. You know, the bottom line is simply this. It has been said that vaccines take years to develop, but the big thing out here on the ground is that there's this big consideration that it took 6 months to come up with this vaccine. It's not FDA approved, as we all know. And beginners just look at the FDA as being the standard bearer of anything to be trusted.
Do they?
So the government has a very tough job of trying to convince a whole lot of people. Eventually, they're coming around to it, but it's a slow process.
Yeah, you sure about that? I think it's the only way it's convenient. The FDA recommends that we vaccinate our children with Gardasil for HPV, but I don't see people rushing to do that.
Exactly.
So we need to stop being hypocrites. Only when it's convenient do you. Oh, the FDA says. Oh, come on now.
But listen to a whole lot of the conversations out there, and they're using the FDA as the standard bearer. And even though, like you, what you said is true, still in the mindsets of Bahamians, probably because we are closely tied with them in a lot of ways, they look at them as being the standard bearer of the medical, of anything medical coming forward, or food, or anything like that. So that's where it's at. Thank you for taking my call this morning, Dwight.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen when it does get the approval. Chester, I don't know what you think is going to happen. But will that change the tone of a lot of people here? FDA approval, yay, get the AstraZeneca vaccine.
I doubt it'll change their minds. Like you said, they're still convinced of crazy things like trackers and nano whatevers.
Yeah, well, they believe that with all of the vaccines, right?
Yeah.
So, Oh, man. Okay. Let's read some text messages here. I have a feeling we're not going to be able to reconnect with that. That's how it's looking. Okay. This one says, why is it they're pushing recovered patients to be vaxxed? They don't know how long the vaccine will last against mutation, that he's being kidnapped socially and financially. Okay, you're asking some good questions until the end there. All right. This one... What? Okay, I don't know about that one. No, okay. I can't read some of these messages at all. Oh, my goodness gracious. 323-6232. The text messages are almost as bad as the calls. What's happening today? 325-4316. 325-4259. 323-6232. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You are on Morning Blend. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Okay, hi.
Okay, the next time Dave and Anton and Dwight call, ask them if they taken the vaccine.
Oh,
They have plenty comments, but nobody said they taking it.
Dave already said he's not. Dave already said that. Already said he's not interested in taking that, so that's what I said. I don't know.
Is it because of which party is giving it out or leading the rollout?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure at all. I do not know, Chester. But hey. All right, so, yeah, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Again, if you're just tuning in, we have posted on our page what you need to do if you want to register, if you want to make an appointment to get that vaccine. They're doing 65 and older now, and as Edfield said earlier, they continue at the various, at Princess Margaret Hospital, at Doctors Hospital, and at Sandlands to vaccinate the frontline workers there. And come Monday, they'll be looking at some of the uniform branches, like the Defense Force, and they're going to be getting to Bahama on Monday at the Rand as they roll this vaccination process out. Let's take some more calls. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Jester again.
Hi, good morning.
Just size in the background and the aftermath, these calls are hilarious. I just can't take it. But you answer your question on why, these individuals are, how feel the way that they feel. They have to find somebody in this technical process. That these individuals who are for certain political entities, they must push a certain narrative. And to be fair, some of their questions are fair, right? But that whole narrative on question about why aren't they taking the vaccine to the individuals that need it, that makes no sense whatsoever. Instead, please outline exactly what they are doing, the complete process, and the fact that they are going to go to these individuals. I don't understand why they seek to overcomplicate something that is so simple. I mean, simple and sweet. My thing is that when it comes available to my age group, I will take it. I've done the prerequisite research to know that these are viable vaccines, and I think we as a nation, we as a people, must do our research and then make our decision going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, do the proper research. Just don't go by what conspiracy theories are saying on the web. Do the viable research.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yep. Here's a text here. I'm noticing a trend with all media stations pushing the vaccine. Was there some incentive given to do this, similar to how companies pay for advertising? In other words, is Guardian Radio receiving any form of payment or benefits for choosing to promote the vaccine? Wow.
What are these people talking about?
I don't know. It's the... apparently crack is popular again in this place. Promote the vaccine. Okay.
All right.
Guardian Radio has not received anything. Right? I think the majority of the hosts, if not all of the hosts on Guardian Radio, are sensible people who see the benefits of vaccination, and if that sounds like promoting to you, well then that's your interpretation of it.
And
right?
I think most of the hosts have said, take it if you want to, and if you don't want to, well, don't do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That doesn't sound like promotion to me.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes. Well, I listened to the U.S. news yesterday. The AstraZeneca vaccine, that's the European-made one, now they have already done the investigation. It's deemed to be safe. Okay?
Yes.
They said yesterday it's not causing the blood clots. I don't know about the one that we got, but I think this should relieve some fears of Bahamian people. You guys could go do your research. And
We've been talking about it all morning.
Pardon me?
We've been talking about it all morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I know that's what it said yesterday
Yes.
when I watched the news yesterday afternoon.
Yes, this
Thank you,
is from 6 something. We were talking about that. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning again, Dwight.
Hi, Anton.
Dwight, I want the exception to going on that caller tempted. And out of that, and a very to put it there. Okay, I'm saying, look, man, it's no sense. Let's put it in Bahamian use. It makes very little sense when you are talking about vaccinating the population in our country, 65 years or older, to have one mere site at Loyola Hall, which is Gladstone Road. That's on almost the farthermost southwestern tip of the island. That is completely inconsiderate. It is not accommodating, and it does not encourage all persons 65 years and older to get the shots in arms. The whole purpose...
You were saying something completely different there before.
Dwight,
you were
I
saying that
said-
they had too many sites all over.
No, Dwight. I said based on what Edfield said. Edfield said they have reviewed and they have revised and they have closed. They have limited the options for vaccination sites because they do not have the amount of vaccines that they first anticipated that they were going to have. Right? And I said that is the wrong approach. The right approach would be to make the distribution of vaccine sites people-centric and people-centered, meaning
You want to make it most accessible for those you are seeking to get shots in arms. You want to do what is necessary by opening those sites to encourage persons to come out, whether persons are walking or whether persons are driving or whether persons have to hustle a ride or whether they have to catch the bus or taxi. You do not know what people's circumstances are in this hard economic environment. So you have to be considerate. If you want your program to succeed, you have to put the centers where they are necessary, instead of just having one center at Loyola Hall all the way on Gladstone Road, which makes very little sense if I need to pound it in certain people's head in order for them to understand
Antonio, you're not being
simple
reasonable.
English.
You're not being reasonable, right? And we will get to that point, but right now we only have 20,000 doses, right? We're going to get to that point. And so everyone will have to be their brother's keeper, and they'll have to look out for that person who needs a ride down there if they're not driving, right? So the same way you've been able to get to the supermarket if you're not mobile, right? You're going to have to reach out to your neighbor and talk to them, right? So, yeah, many things could be better, but that's not, people are already under a lot of stress and very nervous about this right now. We don't need to add a complication to this, right? To make this feel like this is the biggest problem ever. Not going to help anybody. Not going to help anybody. And it is truly nitpicking now. Right. Okay. Take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, and we're going to try to get this back on some... Yeah. We're going to be talking about the importance of risk management in your company and why at this time it is more important than ever. That's coming up for Morning Blend Business after the break. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day.
So, Gianna, how often have you been flossing? Well, you know that's not enough. And are you still working over at the daycare? Okay. How's Franklin? Haven't seen him at the club. I see. How are your boys doing? Okay. Sounds good. Now you just tell me if this hurts. Oh boy, that's a doozy. Did I ever tell you about the shark I found in my pool?
With 99% of medical claims paid in under 5 days, we're like a doesn't try to talk to you with your mouth full.
Sounds good.
CG Atlantic. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Atlantic Medical Insurance Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Medical and Life. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Carlisle Pension Services Bahamas Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Pensions. And Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO. Growing wealth for future generations.
Your home is where your heart is, but it's more than just shelter. Your home is your workplace. Your home is school for your kids. Your home is even your happy place where you play. Get the best internet connection wherever you are, with blazing fast speeds up to 300 megabits per second for as low as $99.99. And installation within 48 hours. Sign up for any of our fiber packages today and get a chance to win a free tablet in your second month. Call or WhatsApp 577-SHOP or 424-SHOP and conditions apply.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, March 19th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Today we're going to be talking about risk management, enterprise risk management, and the importance of this, especially at this time. So many businesses have been possibly forever changed as a result of the events of the past year. What will this mean going forward, and how will you minimize risk, and what type of risks are we talking about? We're going to get into all of that this morning. Our special guest, Hubert Edwards, with Next Level. He's going to be talking about that and about an upcoming seminar that's going to delve into all of this. That's coming up. But first, it's time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, insisting that the government avoided the peril of devaluation, Attorney General Carl Bethel defending the government's borrowing of more than $400 million in U.S. dollars so far this fiscal year. The government has borrowed $2.1 billion since the start of the 2020-2021 fiscal year, which has bolstered the Central Bank of the Bahamas' foreign reserves to sit at a comfortable $2.3 billion, despite a nearly 40% decrease in revenue collections because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Financial experts have criticized the government for borrowing at higher rates in foreign currency rather than raising that capital here in the Bahamas. Bethel said that had the government not borrowed U.S. currency, the Bahamian dollar's value would have declined. You can read about his comments in today's Guardian Business section. As the government seeks to expand the digitization of its services, Minister of State for Finance Kwesi Thompson announcing that Bahamian travelers will soon be allowed to complete the customs declaration process required upon re-entry virtually. Thompson saying that this new process will allow Bahamian travelers to fill out their declaration forms online, have them processed within minutes, and make their payments before they even arrive to their port of entry. And in a continuation of a trend seen so far across the banking sector, Commonwealth Bank saw a 35% decrease in total profits at the end of 2020, which stood at $21 million. Commonwealth Bank Executive Chairman William Sands Jr. saying the decrease largely stemmed from a $14 million increase in impairment losses over 2019. Impairment losses grew from $48 million in 2019 to $62 million in 2020. Financial statement from the bank's fourth quarter is saying that $24 million of the impairment expense was incurred in the fourth quarter of the year as the severity of the second wave of the pandemic became evident in postponing the reopening of the tourism sector in the fourth quarter. Sands says because the bank has a wider range of personal borrowers than other commercial banks, with approximately 40% of the consumer loan market, it has a larger portfolio of accounts in relief programs. He also said that along with the rest of the economy, Commonwealth Bank's performance in 2020 was adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, the cessation of the majority of the economic activity in the economy arising from both domestic and international lockdowns and restrictions on traveling, resulting in unaudited results for 2020 falling by almost 35% from 2019 to record total profit at approximately $21 million. Read more on this in today's Guardian Business section as well. Overseas, the number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits rose last week to 770,000, a sign that layoffs remain high even as much of the U.S. economy is steadily recovering from the coronavirus recession. Thursday's report from the Labor Department showing that jobless claims were climbed from 7,000 the week before. The numbers have dropped sharply since the depths of the recession last spring, but still show that employers in some industries continue to lay off workers. Before the pandemic struck, applications for unemployment aid had never topped the 700,000 mark in any 1 week in the U.S. The 4-week average of claims, which smooths out weekly variations, dropped to 746,000, the lowest since late November. A total of 4.1 million people continue to collect traditional state unemployment benefits, down 18,000 from the previous week. Including separate federal programs that are intended to help workers displaced by the health crisis, 18.2 million Americans were receiving some form of jobless aid in the week of February 27th, down by 1.9 million from the week before. Meanwhile, global stock markets followed Wall Street lower today so far after rising U.S. bond yields dampened buying enthusiasts' promise of low interest rates. London and Frankfurt opened lower, and Shanghai, Tokyo, and Hong Kong also retreated. Also today, Japan Central left its Japan Central Bank left its easy monetary policy and inflation goal of 2% unchanged, but widened the band in which long-term interest rates will be allowed to rise or fall around its target of 0.25% from 0.2%. Investors are swinging between hopes the rollout of coronavirus vaccines will allow global business and travel to resume, and fears of possible inflation caused by government stimulus spending and easy credit. U.S. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said the Fed will keep rates low even as inflation accelerates. Central banks usually try to restrain price rises by hiking rates, but Fed officials have said the U.S. economy will be allowed to run hot to avoid derailing a recovery. Closer to home in your Market Watch, we are recapping trading on the BISX from Good Movers. AML Foods Limited moving 3,000 shares, closing down 5 cents to $4.75. Commonwealth Bank moving 600, closing unchanged at $9.75. Fidelity Bank moving 1,050, up 5 cents to $14. Consolidated Water down 5 cents to $2.79. Emira Incorporated down 7 cents to $10.91. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,911.41, up 0.33. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. You're listening to Morning Blend Business. When we come back, we are talking about risk management, enterprise risk management, and decoding the fundamentals. What does it all mean, and what does it mean to you? We're going to get into that after the break. Stay with us.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right, devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices. Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit BeAlive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better. Now, imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
So, Gianna, how often have you been flossing? Mm-hmm. Well, you know that's not enough. And are you still working over at the daycare? Okay. How's Franklin? Haven't seen him at the club. Mm-hmm. I see. How are your boys doing? Okay. Sounds good. Now you just tell me if this hurts. Oh boy, that's a doozy. Did I ever tell you about the shark I found in my pool?
With 99% of medical claims paid in under 5 days, we're like a dentist that doesn't try to talk to you with your mouth full.
Sounds good.
CG Atlantic. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Atlantic Medical Insurance Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Medical and Life. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Coral Isle Pension Services Bahamas Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Pensions. And Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, and this morning we are talking about enterprise management. What exactly is it? Why is it needed? And what you need to know. Here to guide us through it all, we are very pleased to welcome back to the show, no stranger to Guardian Radio, part of the family, Hubert Edwards with Next Level Solutions is here with us this morning. And we have also with us, we have Siobhan Johnson with BPL and Bruce Scott with PwC. Great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Certainly a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to be on with future co-presenter Bruce Scott from PwC Jamaica and part of the Caribbean Network, and also Siobhan Johnson, Director of Risk and Compliance BPL.
Okay, excellent stuff. All right. So let's start at the very beginning, and we're going to get to the virtual seminar a little bit later in the show. But just let's talk about this in general. What are we talking about when we speak about risk management and enterprise risk management? What are we talking about?
Well, at a very fundamental level, risk management is about, looking at the issues which represents impediments to you achieving your objective. Every business, every entity goes into business or undertakes some sort of an adventure in order to hopefully at the end of the day make profit. Not every single business is in the business of chasing profit, but there's always an objective at the end. And what risk management recognizes is that there are some things which will impact your ability to do that. It will impact the ability to do that optimally, even if you don't do anything. And so risk management seeks to manage those impacts, to reduce, to mitigate, or to eliminate. There are different types of treatment. The ultimate risk management is avoidance. You decided, okay, I am going to go into this type of a business. It's way too risky. Sometimes like persons will tell us to invest, right? And we say, no, we are poor. We don't have no money to invest. The ultimate, we avoid it. We keep our monies in our pocket. That's ultimately what happened. At the end of the day, though, in avoidance, there's no chance of making any profits or securing gain. So what risk management and enterprise risk management is seeking to do, Dwight, is to enhance the upside or to reduce the downside of whatsoever activity that you're engaging. And, businesses right across the board, government, social organization, every single individual, even in your everyday life without even realizing it, we are participating, we are engaging in risk management. If you were to wake up this morning, we don't do it in this part of the world, but if you were to wake up in the morning and the news says through the weather report that there's going to be rain today, and you walk with your umbrella, you are engaging in risk management. It may not happen, it's not sure, but you are engaging in that type of a thing. And so that's basically what it is, so that organizations that we look at are able to better to achieve their objective, manage certain risks right across the board, whether it's credit risk, liquidity risk. These days, we're dealing with AML, anti-money laundering. You're dealing with capital risk, systemic risk. These are things which risk management professionals and specialists who are engaged in various corporations or who are engaged as service provider help organization to do. And so, that's pretty much what it is. We can you can get further feedback from people who I have here with me today.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. So that's a good setup for it. So before we get to what has changed since the pandemic, let's talk about in a normal year. What would be some of the biggest risks that a company would need to be looking out for, that you need to manage? Give us some examples of that before 2020. What were some of the issues?
Well, it depends on the type of organization. Generally, there are some risks which every organization is going to be faced with. Whatsoever you undertake, always going to be operational risk, which is failure of people and failure of systems. If you are in the financial space, for example, if you're a bank and you're lending, then you certainly have credit risk. Most organizations have credit risk because they may grant credit to individual. They may sell you on a 15-day or a 30-day credit. You have liquidity risk. You have IT risk, information technology. You have data security. You have issues relating to persons, just security risks. In some countries, in some areas, you definitely have persons who have to be very careful about where they go physically. So there is a myriad of risks across the board, and I think it would be fair to say, and it's important to say, that is agnostic to whether we are pre or post COVID or in the middle of COVID. These are things which just generally emanate from the type of a business that the individual organization is engaged in.
Okay, so since the pandemic, since March of last year, have those risks changed? Have they taken a backseat to anything that we've seen in the last 12 months?
I would say definitely yes, we will get some views from our colleagues here, right? But definitely, what does if you listen to yourself, persons like yourself, one of the biggest term which we have all grabbed onto since COVID is the new normal, the new normal, the new normal. And if you ask most persons what the new normal is, they just tell you new normal. Well, basically, my categorization of that is, and this wasn't original, saw this someplace and kind of expanded it. It's a period of heightened uncertainty and significant level of volatility. And that is what risk management about. Risk management is really addressing uncertainty, because there are things which we don't know. If it is certain, I usually use this example, Dwight. If you were to throw a stone in the sea, what would happen? It's a question I usually ask person. What would happen?
Barely anything. A little ripple.
There would be a little ripple. But one thing which is sure is that that stone will get wet.
Yes.
It's a certainty. There's absolutely no risk of the stone getting wet. And so from a risk management point of view, we are concerned about the uncertainty. What is going to happen? The economy is in a crisis. Are we going to have enough money? Are persons who have borrowed from us, will they lose their job? Will they come back and pay? How much individual will do that? Will we have to make extra provision? Is our liquidity going to hold up? Is there a situation where our supply chains are going to stay intact? So these are the things which risk management deal with. And I would say that in the COVID environment, the risk, the pressure on these areas have been significantly enhanced. And as a result of that, it requires persons to be more focused. It requires risk management system to be more pointed and managing these risk areas.
Let's hear from Siobhan and Bruce. Any surprises have come? Any new risks that we hadn't seen before as a result of the pandemic?
I don't know. Ladies first. Siobhan, you want to go or you want me to go?
I wouldn't say that there were necessarily surprises, because the other discipline of risk management is you're trying to anticipate things that could go wrong so that you have a plan in place. and that you're not just reacting.
Right.
But a lot of what COVID has demonstrated is, whether or not companies were resilient. It could be from people management. We always talk about, we're going to have this succession plan in place. Well, COVID made you really test whether or not, if someone key was out or an entire team becomes sick, is your organization resilient? So I think that what has happened is a lot of people from a business continuity perspective, they were tested. Key relationships were tested. Logistics were tested. You take it for granted that everything that you needed from food parts, etc., your industry, medicine supply, even talent.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if Siobhan is. So what I would say, Dwight, is that maybe there are a few new risks, but Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is that certain risks, the importance of certain risks have been heightened or they've become more visible. It's almost as if when you decide that you're going to buy a red car, when you're driving in your blue car, all of a sudden there's so many red cars around just because you have this heightened awareness. It's a cybersecurity risk. That's the risk that some third party, some hacker, whether inside or outside, could take advantage of your systems. And there have been a lot of cases in the news. The reason why cybersecurity risk has heightened is because for the average company, they probably have 60, 70% of their employees, depending on industry, working from home. And when you dial in from home to your corporate network, what you're doing, you're expanding the borders of your network and therefore increasing the potential number of persons who could hack into that network.
Wow.
Companies have had to now increase their investment in protecting those borders so that they are not adversely affected. The other quick thing in terms of risk, which is not new, always been there, as heightened, is the importance of managing your financial risk. Financial risk is broad, but in particular, your cash flow, not anything new that I'm saying, right? They say profit is an opinion, cash is king. So for those who never fully understood the concept of managing your cash in and out, COVID has heightened the importance of that. And so the lesson is when things go back to normal, companies will now need to see and realize the importance of having what I call an emergency fund, which you need to have for your personal life as well as your corporate life.
Wow.
Those two risks have been heightened. Cyber, financial risk in particular, your treasury or managing your cash flow.
Right.
Companies need to come to the seminar to hear how to better manage these risks, right, Hubert?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Bruce, as we always say on the risk management side, right? Every single risk is a trigger. Liquidity. You pretty much no company, no entity goes out of business because they have a heightened credit risk. Usually is when they run out of money. You can't pay your creditors, you can't pay your staff, you can't find goods and services because you can't afford it. So ultimately, it's a domino effect. And this is what risk management about. It recognizes the connectivities, the interdependence, the spillovers, if you will, and this domino effect that, yes, right now we are in a heightened situation where you have cybersecurity, as Bruce mentioned. So let's say that we had a breach, and that breach led as a result of persons working remotely. That breach then leads to a reputational risk because somebody in the newspaper picked that up. As a result of that, the company starts to lose clients. As a result of losing clients, there's no income coming in, and ultimately the business closes. And so these are things which you have to recognize how they impact the organization and why you have to be sensitive to the change in the environment and enhance the internal controls, the reporting, the level of escalation that takes place to the board. How do you involve the board? How do you involve strategy? Which is one of the things which Siobhan is going to talk about at the event. Coming together of risk strategy and business strategy, which I think is an important thing. And the point which Bruce touched on.
Yeah.
Money at the end of the day.
That's an interesting point that Bruce brought up about the money coming in, but this text here, this is something else. This person says, I'm a businessman and it got harder. It's harder now to get supplies and raw materials than even at the height of COVID. So when that happens, when there's additional costs that you might not have been able to foresee, I guess through even natural disasters sometimes, pushing the cost up for goods, that's another matter there. What can you do about that when you don't foresee something like that happening?
So if I may chime in there,
Mhm.
you know, when I don't know if you heard me when I was talking about logistics and how due to COVID, you saw so much supply chain channels just freeze up, or you actually had some countries, larger countries, becoming territorial over their supplies. So it's not that they didn't exist. They were just kind of saying, I'm keeping these for me and for my primary markets. And so what you want to do as a company from a third party risk perspective is make sure you have identified multiple channels that you establish relationships with for your critical supplies, because all it takes is one event for these protectionist measures to kick in, and then you're stranded, you know.
Yep, that is something else. Wow. I want to talk more about the security issues. So we're hearing so much more about hackers, and people just seem to have nothing to do and just seem to want to play with your infrastructure, your IT infrastructure. What more can you do to protect yourselves?
Yeah, Hubert, you want me to take that?
Yeah, you're the expert in that area, man.
Well, in terms of protection, and this is going to be a paradox, right? A lot of the times when people think about improving the cybersecurity protection layers, naturally we tend to think of the big technical, complicated tools and cracking passwords. But you know what? The best thing that a company can do to have immediate returns on protecting their network is their people, the awareness, basic security awareness among their staff. So if you have 50 staff or 500 staff, you need, if you're listening to this call, to immediately, if you haven't done so, work with your IT team or get a third-party provider to help you to take your staff through some basics in terms of their behaviors. A simple example is if you see an email coming in masquerading to be, well, they probably wouldn't think of it as a masquerade initially, but it's coming from, say, HR, you know, you need to click this link, we're doing a survey, and the winner will get $5,000 US. Train your staff to have that heightened awareness, have that skepticism, not to click down emails that will to your machine that will give messages and information to hack. That's one very basic thing. And the most popular attack now is what they call a phishing attack. And as the word phishing suggests, it doesn't spell the same way. So that's one of the simplest things. But outside of that, from a more governance level, as a quick framework strategy, you're listening to this call, how do I quickly protect my network from cybersecurity attacks? The number one thing is to go through your business and identify those information assets, those things that you need to protect that has the most value to your business. So if you have a customer list, if you have your formula for your product, if you have a certain marketing strategy, you need to go through, look at your network and see where your most valuable information assets are. That's step one. Then you ask yourself how easy it is for somebody to gain access to this. If it's weak, then you employ or use your internal resources to increase the protection. And then you set alarms similar to what you do at your house to check if somebody is trying to hack, and you monitor. That's a 35,000 feet approach to securing your network, whether you're big or small.
Bruce, if I may add in, I think one of the interesting things that I think people should remember is when you look backwards at a lot of the hacks, Panama Papers, breaches, significant breaches, a lot of times you find out looking backwards that there was someone on the inside telling you that there was a problem. So what you have is a lot of under-resourced IT and security professionals who are probably monitoring and identifying issues, but the business is not committing to resolve them. And then that weakness leads to your exposure. So a lot of times I think that from a risk management perspective, you need to look at what resources are you putting, which funding are you putting to securing and protecting those valuable assets that Bruce just spoke about. But a lot of times you have the people on the inside that pretty much know where the weaknesses are, but you're not treating them timely and you're not prioritizing what you should resolve. And so a lot of these exposures, you'd look at some of the biggest companies in the world and you're astounded. You're like, how did that happen? When you go and you root cause what went wrong, it's normally not something complicated. And it's something that somebody should have seen in many cases before, but they were overworked, under-resourced, and didn't get to resolving the problem. So sometimes you have to ask the question, am I going to pay for it proactively to prevent it from happening? Or am I going to be reactive and pay lose and incur financial loss, reputational issues, customer attrition. Is it worth it? So that's the balancing act that you also want to think about from a cybersecurity perspective.
I sense a common.
Dwight, before you go, Dwight, I just want to do something very quickly. Bruce gave you that high level 35,000 feet look at cybersecurity. And Siobhan mentioned this whole idea when you look backwards, it's always easy to connect the dots looking backward. But she said something very important, the allocation of resources. And this is what we are talking about, aligning business and risk strategy. Because even if you go through the process and identify it, you decide what the treatments are, but the business itself is not properly funding it, or that information which has been identified is not being properly escalated and getting into the boardroom where the decisions are being made and the funding allocations are being made, then obviously, ultimately, the organization is still at risk, because identifying the problem is one thing, but then putting together the solution is another. And this is where the alignment comes in, because remember that what I said at the top, risk management is about enhancing the business objective, and anything which takes away from that reduces your potential for gain or heighten your potential for loss, or however you want to look at it.
Well, there's a common thread, it seems, listening to your workers, listening to your employees, and communication, and the importance of this. And if you're not listening, you can really end up paying a very massive price there. Let's talk more about that and how to be enhanced as part of risk management.
Well, there's no free lunch. There's absolutely no free lunch. You either pay for it now or you pay for it later. One of the things that a lot of organizations do, and it's the nature of business, you want to minimize your expenses, obviously. But sometimes organizations go to the extreme and they nickel and dime on things which are very important. The way I would look at it and say to organization out there is you have to become very fundamental. You have to become very serious about the issues which are going to impact your business. As Bruce mentioned, cybersecurity is at a significant high. One of the things, or one of the benefits of COVID, is the leapfrogging of technology, the significant level of adoption. People are now online. People are now willing to do things which they wouldn't have done 12 months ago. Business models have been radically shaped. And so there is a level of creative disruption which is taking place in business. In some instances, it is beneficial, or at least beneficial, to move over this particular period. Then you will come to a point when there's a settling out and there's a question of, is it robust enough? And this is one of the things Bruce was getting to. Is it robust enough? Have you considered the fact that having expanded your network, you've now included or injected areas of weakness? Because the same level of risk culture or risk compliance which takes place within the four walls of your business doesn't necessarily happen when persons are working remotely. So the response to that is to say to businesses, starting from the boardroom, starting from the board of directors, pay attention to what is happening within the business. Pay attention to the environment. Understand why risks are being elevated. Understand what your control environment is. Try to understand and make sure that the information is coming up which talks about the efficacy of your internal controls. Is there proper communication? Are you able to get information and tie to risk? And is there a means of channeling proper funding for you to ensure that you maintain your resilience? And if that has not been done, at some point in time, the cost you think you're saving now is going to move exponentially, and it fundamentally lead to what we have said before, create a liquidity risk. And most times, liquidity risk is what terminates your business.
So the internal communication is important, but what about external communication? How open should you be to your clients, your customers, the public, when there are issues, when there have been breaches, when there have been some problems internally with supply and costs, all these things that we've seen over the past year, especially?
Oh, you mean like if you had a breach?
Yeah.
And yeah, well, there have been a number of documented cases where companies and employee, and I tell you, the people risk management, if you like, is such a big deal. In a number of cases where a staff innocently, accidentally sends thousands of records to a mailing list that they ought not to have sent it to, quite innocently. And that information might have your date of birth, your credit limit, just stuff that the Data Protection Act could, just that alone could get you into trouble. If that happens, one of the first things that the company should do from a PR perspective is obviously to talk to their crisis communication experts. But one of the first things is to stand in front of the issue, face it head on, and acknowledge that there was a breach. There are only certain persons in the organization should be allowed to speak on the issue. Every Jack and Jill should not be allowed to speak. But the critical thing, I would say, is in terms of communicating with the public, is to acknowledge that a particular breach has occurred. Number two, there should be some assessment or indication of the exposure, because transparency promotes trust, the exposure that may have been suffered if it says a customer listing breach. And most importantly, number three, the company should indicate what they have done subsequently to contain the exposure and therefore to reduce the risk. And lastly, how they're going to talk about how they're going to prevent and protect something like this going forward. So a lot of the times, it's not just about the technical issue, but it's about the emotional intelligence. How did we stand up in front? There's a very, very famous case with the Tylenol problem years ago, when Tylenol, you watched your TV and you saw somebody who took Tylenol literally collapsed and died. But Tylenol leadership came out and attacked that issue, attacked in a good way, and confronted it, and were able to contain the damage. So don't go be an ostrich and bury your head in the sand. If there is a public breach, talk to your PR experts, stand up and face it, explain actually what happened, the level of exposure, how you've been containing, and how you're going to mitigate and prevent the likelihood of a recurrence going forward. There have been a number of cases in the news. They call that a data handle loss or data loss. So just sharing that as a specific example.
Yeah, one of the areas where risk management sees a crossover is in your ethical standards, your ethical framework. It helps to guide, especially the management of reputational risk. And the one of the larger points Bruce just made is, you have to maintain a level of credibility, especially when you're under challenge. It makes no sense for something to go wrong and then you end up lying. These days, something is going to get you. Me too, them too, we too, some sort of a program, and eventually the mustard seed then become a huge significant issue which you just really can't manage again. So your ethics, the being run in a way which is integrous, making sure that you lead from a point of truth. Of course, it has to be managed. That's why you can't have everybody running out willy-nilly saying things and then you have the story all messed up. But at the end of the day, it's always good to be truthful, because that is what you have to stand on. And if you don't, and it comes back and persons discover that, well, this wasn't the way you said it was, you are going to pay. That is an extra, not free lunch to be paid for also.
Very much so. Wow.
If I can just add really quickly,
Yes.
I think that what's important too is that you don't want to say things you're not comfortable saying, because once it's out there, you can't take it back. And I think that some of the errors that we have in crisis communication is we over-communicate. And when we over-communicate and we're not being concise and clear, it leads to confusion. I think, like my colleagues have said, it's very important to be transparent depending on who you're accountable to. Because at the end of the day, you want to comfort people that you have it under control. It's not to give too much information. It is to give the appearance factually that you have it under. And if you don't have it under control, sometimes it's best to even just say that we're evaluating, it's ongoing. So, and they're professionals.
But here you think, Siobhan, here we over communicate? Give us some examples, because I can't think of, give us an example.
I think we do over communicate because of the social media culture.
Okay.
They find out something and they just want to rush and they want to share the news, but they haven't done the fact checking. So part of responsible communication, and this would be your area of expertise, is you make sure the facts that you're communicating is accurate.
Right.
And we've had various situations in this country where people have had to come back and retract things or clarify statements, or sometimes they don't, but the public domain fact checks for them. And so when I say we over communicate, it's more of a timing thing that you're saying things too quickly before you really know what you want to say.
Okay. I get that point. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to find out more about the virtual webinar, the seminar that's coming up, and get some of the details on how you can be a part of that. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
No, babe, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did it work?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then if you get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send picture direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas, then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details. Or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
And we've got your final look at weather as we head into the weekend. Here's what's happening. We've got a weak cold front that's going to move into the extreme northern islands later this morning, while the high pressure ridge that's been dominating the weather over the past few days, that's going to slide eastwards. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents. For the northwest Bahamas today, expect partly sunny and warm conditions with a gradual increase in clouds, scattered showers, and isolated thunderstorms as the front approaches. Small craft caution in effect for the extreme northwest Bahamas. For the central and southeastern islands, mostly sunny and hot with a slight chance of passing isolated showers, becoming partly cloudy with a chance of a brief shower tonight. 6 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that frontal boundary expected to become stationary as a low-pressure center will form along the front on Saturday in the northwest Bahamas. So for tomorrow, Saturday, that's going to be partly cloudy conditions with isolated showers and possible thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas, mostly sunny and hot with a chance of showers over the remainder of the islands. For Sunday, partly cloudy with isolated showers and possible thunderstorms, mainly across the northwestern islands, but mostly sunny and hot with a chance of showers over the central and southeast Bahamas. That's your morning blend weather check. We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan speaking about enterprise risk management with Hubert Edwards and Bruce Scott and Siobhan Johnson. All right, Hubert, so you've got a virtual seminar coming up, and Bruce and Siobhan are going to be speaking at that as well. Let's talk about that and tell us how we can register, what we need to do to be a part of that.
Yeah, so we have a virtual seminar, and this is the second one we have done so far for the year. We have committed to do a number of these as part of our business, our next level solution giving back. We have been fortunate enough to be able to partner with Bahamas Institute of Financial Services on these, and so per look out in the future for those that will come. So, and we're looking at enterprise risk management, and we are bylining this, decoding the fundamentals, as you would have heard here, two individuals, and there is another presenter. Her name is Georgia Monroe. She is the Risk and Compliance Manager for the Development Bank of Jamaica. And we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible, but ensuring that we're remaining fundamental in what we're going to be delivering. So Bruce will be speaking on navigating risk taxonomy and register, which is a very, very important part of this whole risk management structure. You can talk until the fowls come home to roost. If you're not documenting stuff, if you're not understanding it, then you certainly are not going to move anywhere. Siobhan is going to be talking about aligning business and risk strategies, and you would have heard a little bit of what she, where her mind is, and it's important, especially given the experience of the organization that she works with significant amount of logistics and issues and the whole works. I think the experience coming from BPL will be so rich that she'll be able to share at a very high level. Georgia Monroe will be speaking on risk management, alphabet soup. So we're going to be looking at some of the things that you usually hear about: BCP, BRR, ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance. These are some of the things which people brand about and throw around all the time without explaining them. And so we are going to, kind of give some insight. And I'm going to be speaking on the enterprise risk management drivers, looking at COSO, looking at regulation, and looking at standards. And, you can register by going to nlsolutionsbahamas.com. That's our website, nlsolutionsbahamas.com. Or you can check out stuff which are moving around in social media, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. And just register. It is going to be free. We are not charging. The next time around, we will obviously have to start thinking about charging. But for this one, I think it's so important, especially given the environment, that practitioners and specialists and individuals who have interest in this area, that we bring these persons together with a view of sharing and learning. Because even us as presenter, when we share within this environment, we learn a lot. And so looking forward to as many persons as is possible turning out to be a part of this.
Excellent. And when is it going to be?
It's going to be on Thursday, next week, Thursday, the 25th, and it will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to ensure that we have an interactive session. So it's not just going to be us speaking. If you ever hear, I've never heard Siobhan presented in a big setting. I've talked to her, I know she's an expert. But if you ever hear Bruce always says, the first thing he says is, you're going to talk to me. And, you know, this is the type of environment that we want to create. We want to have persons talk to us, we talk back to them, we hear their question, we hear their input, so that when persons walk away from that, it's not just a talk shop, it's an event, it's a moment in which we reach each other, and we can then go back to our various organizations and bring value to those organizations in that way.
Excellent. And you're doing this in partnership with the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, is that right?
Yes, it is. And so we want to say, you know, the Institute of Financial Services is such an important organization within the Bahamas, within the financial services realm. You know, we have to continue to support that. I have the opportunity of the privilege, really, of serving on the council. And so we, in any way, shape, or form that we can support them, we will do that. They are always supportive of situations like this. They have risk management courses. They have courses right across the board for the financial sector and for the non-financial sector. So, you know, give them a thought. You know, it's not an easy organization to run. It's challenging, especially in this time when revenue is waning. And we take it for granted. Even though we are a financial sector or a financial jurisdiction, we take it for granted that an organization like this needs the support of everyone. Right. And I just want to end, Dwight, I want to thank Bruce and I want to thank Siobhan, and they can have their last word for agreeing to be a part of this, and also Georgia in her absence. It's not easy every day to call on high power professionals and they say yes. So I'm really, really humbled in that regard, and thank them for agreeing to be a part of this forum.
Yes, and we can tell they're going to be great. We had a great time talking with them this morning. Siobhan Johnson and Bruce Scott, thank you so much. Looking forward to the seminar next week, Thursday. And thank you so much for talking with us this morning. And Hubert Edwards, always a pleasure. Of course, you know, you're always welcome. Great to have you this morning. We are flat out of time. Thank you all again. That is it for us. We're back Monday with more Morning Live Business here on Guardian Radio.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9